What's up? What's up? Mike Healy here running solo till my boy Terry jumps on. So you can hang with me. There's Terry. Terry, I just went live.
Maybe you and I are doing it for. It's a different reasoning for that. And so it's them.
Hey, you're on speaker, by the way. Just checking. Excellent. Hey, if you're just joining us, tell us who you are, where you're calling from. Not calling from. I'm so used to doing that from conference calls that I can't even remember. I forgot to push play on that, didn't I?
Hey, what's up, friends? Sorry about that. I was just wrapping up a phone call. Got you, Mikey. I hit that mute button and we're good to go. So
yeah, you're fine. I can hear you good. So we're good. Hey, I got that string of questions, statements. I got it pulled up for us so we can walk through it.
Very cool, man. I love your new lemon gear too, buddy. I like it. It's very fresh.
Yeah. I'll go full screen and you can see how good it is here.
Yeah, I like it. I gotta get one. I've been meaning to do it. Just one of those things, like one thing after another hitting me in the inbox, and I forget and I get distracted. And yeah,
we got. Yes, I did get a nice shirt. Thank you, Jason. Toronto, Greenville, Nashville.
Oh, Rick, you're from Ontario, man. Whereabouts in Ontario?
A featured app. History, no idea. Norway. Excellent. Very cool. Get them on. What time we got here? 3:01. Yeah, we're still way early. Excellent. Did you like my graphic today for the Zoom with the miners?
Buddy, I always love your graphics, man. You crushed it in that department. You're so good at it. I still can't draw a stick, man. So seeing you whip up something good like that is just like, holy shit, that's good.
I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, very cool.
Excellent. Yeah, if you want to put in the comments, you might be if you're watching on Facebook, any of my Facebook channels I got broadcasts on, or if you're watching on YouTube, you can comment and I'll see them and I can post you on here, make you famous.
I love it. Uncle Joe in the house. Very cool. Hey, Matt, you know what? We're getting a lot of Norway people and a lot of people from different parts of the world. I just love seeing that. I'm always surprised there isn't more Europeans in here. You know, we got the Aussies and Kiwis who I did a call with this morning. We've obviously got a little bit of Middle East. We've got India in the house. We've got some North Americans, you know, but it seems like that European corridor is a lot thinner than it ought to be. I don't know if they got to wake up to crypto or what's up with that.
That's right. Rick, I am in Columbus, Ohio. And Terry's in Sarasota.
Yeah, Rick, what was I missed Rick's answer to Ontario, yeah, but I'm formerly from Ontario. I've been gone for a long time. I escaped the cold and the communism up there, and but hey, I still got some roots. I got some friends there still, you know.
Exactly. Jason says, what do you guys think about foam lemon head gear, ice cheese heads for Packers? That would be cool.
You're talking to Mike, who loves the college football. Like, you know, he's got you. Orlando, Ontario. Rick, I don't even know where that is, man. Damn. All right, I got to look that up.
Sussex, England. Welcome.
Yeah.
Got some boys from Australia.
Yeah. Hey, Sten and I were on Sten was on the morning chat that I did today too, which is good. So,
man, he may have gone to bed and got back up to do this again.
Rick, you went the wrong way, man. How did you go from, well, I wouldn't say Southwest, but Southern Florida all the way up to Ontario? I mean, you went the wrong direction. You got to correct that. I'm ready to squeeze some lemons.
Squeeze those lemons. All right. Well, Terry Tiller, are you ready to rock and roll, my friend?
Buddy, I am. Let's do it. Let's get a good show on today.
First off, I got to show everybody my new lemon shirt.
Go full screen for that, Mikey. Go full screen for that. Show it off. I like it. Look at that. How's that for the new gear?
Yeah, it's awesome. It came out really good. It came out really good. Yeah, I like it. It's exactly like the debt one was, which I loved, and I still wear because we still are powered by debt, which is great.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is good. So So hey Terry, let's just jump right into this because you told me just a second ago Jason's in a meeting that he just got called into, and obviously you and I could run this without any issues. Correct?
Yeah. So Derek just called me, and Derek was all like, "Jay got pulled into an emergency meeting, and he just wanted to let you know that he can't make it today," which sucks because he had a guest that was supposed to come with him, and said guest is in town still, but they had to go to another meeting that they, for whatever reason, felt was more pressing. But he had a lot of faith that we could totally handle it, and he dropped some great nuggets today, and he really wanted us to unpack it and spell it out for people and help them really understand. And also tomorrow, for those, don't be disappointed. We will get a good show on today. And for those who are going to tune in tomorrow, I don't think we'll have a live, but they are going on a field trip, if you will, if you guys want to read between the lines. And they're going to take some pictures and short video footage, as I currently understand it, of some new, exciting, let's call it assets that will be a part of the Lemon ecosystem, and then they're going to either create or send to Healy and I to kind of compile a short video. So we might run that as a live tomorrow, or just circulate, upload it and circulate it. But you're going to want to definitely tune in for it and be on the lookout, even if you're busy and got plans tomorrow. So there'll be a short, pungent video, and we'll get a good live in today, unpacking some juicy bombs that Jay dropped earlier. And I feel very comfortable talking about those. And a lot of people, maybe some of those lessons are a little too far advanced down the tokenomics trail. So we'll try and make it make sense.
Hey, and by the way, guys, I just happen every morning I check my YouTube channels because I've got like 6 that I maintain with all the business stuff that I've got going on. And all of a sudden I see this one, it says Mega Trends Now is live. And I'm like, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. How is Terry live? I thought you forgot it on here. Terry and was it Steve? Wasn't Steven?
Rick.
No, what was his name?
Rick
did a really good job on there. So if you want, go to YouTube and type in Mega Trends Now, find Terry's channel, or go to any of the old ones that you probably have saved, the Terry's thing, and watch. They went kind of in. They had some really good discussions on there. I was able to just listen in. I asked a couple questions on the chat, just like you guys do, and so on. So before we jump into this, I just want to tell everybody, I understand exactly how you feel if you're a fairly newbie to crypto. And the good news that I have for you is before, this would have been over a year ago when we were doing a lot of stuff with the debt stuff. I did put some simple tutorials together, how to set up a wallet, how to swap, how to do those things. Obviously, they're outdated now, so I've pulled those off of that website, the MyNode training one. But as soon as I get access to anything that happens to be live, hopefully before it goes officially live, doesn't take me very long to do a screen record, edit a video, and get it populated. And then I'll make sure that I put them on there, and I will have them in a sequential order. And obviously they'll be easy to identify. Like one, I'll probably make this tomorrow because I'm bit booked right after this. The rest of the night is like how to unstake. So if you want to know, if you haven't figured that out yet, I'll make a short tutorial on how to unstake and so on. So we'll be able to put that stuff together, or I'll put that together, and then it'll be easy for people to share and copy and stuff like that. So sound good?
Yeah, sounds good, Mike. Did you see Bill's comment in the thread? It's a fun one.
Oh, which one was it?
From Bill.
Thanks for volunteering.
No, down further.
What's up, brothers from a lemma mother? There, let me put it on the screen.
Yeah, I figured that was a fun
What's
one.
up, brothers from a lemma mother? That's funny.
So yeah,
all right, so you ready to jump into it,
Yeah,
Terry?
ready to jump in. Let's do it.
Okay, so I am going to shrink us, and I'm going to pull up what we have. You can see those questions there, right, Terry?
Yep, all good.
Okay, so this this list of things that are written down here was sent out by Jason Anderson himself. So Terry, why don't we just start here at the top and roll through, and I may interrupt or whatever. So go for it, bro.
Yeah, guys, I just think it's important for people to understand that how you architect your chain has a huge impact on the price over the long term. And that's because we're not just dependent on market speculation, right? And so we're just going to kind of unpack some of this and go over it. And Jay asked me to do that. So all the NFTs are all going to mint only with Lemon, right? Except for the very first one, the utility token itself. and that's going to create a lot of demand and a lot of buying pressure on Lemon. We also saw this in the early days when we converted over to buying all L2 projects using the debt coin. It created demand, and there was a steady upward stream. So that's one great step in the right direction.
And so real quick, Terry, because you'll be able to answer this. So what that means, the first thing, all NFTs for L2 can only mint with Lemon. That means that once Lemon comes out, I will probably take my USDT out of my wallet or BNB, and I will buy Lemon tokens so that I have it stored up. And then when I'm ready to go mint, it's going to use that as the transaction currency.
100%.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. And then so we got all validators must buy with only with Lemon, thousands from all over the globe. So we probably won't start with thousands of validators to start. Like Jay talked about how we would just kind of start with a finite amount to make sure that the rewards for the current validators are really juicy and commensurate with the size of the chain now. But as the chain scales, which will be very rapid, we will also scale the validator nodes as well. So there'll be a certain amount that you have to have purchased and staked to be a validator. And then, of course, we're also going to get paid in Lem coins as well, as I understand it currently. So that's, fantastic. And again, more demand and more usage and more locking up of the supply of Lemon. So we got all validators must stake, and the rates for their Lemon make sense for 3 years. So basically what they're saying there is you can stake for shorter periods of time, but there'll be built-in incentives for being a long-term staker. And what we want, what's being engineered is exactly like we always talked about many moons ago in the debt days, where we were going to get a tight supply, shrink it and shrink it and shrink it and lock it up, and always continually find ways of locking it up and try and drive walls of money hitting a non-existent supply, right? Because then it's just supply and demand math. There's a very low supply, no matter where anyone looks, including on exchanges. When we get to that place and walls of money hit, it's just math. The token can only go in one direction. When there are 12 buyers and only 3 puppies, every dog is the pick of the litter, to said another way. So all the community can then smart contract delegate their Lemon to a validator and help the chain as well. So if you, over time, the requirements to be a validator are going to increase. And so lots of people won't be able to, or some won't have the interest in becoming a validator. And I can't say with 1,000% certainty, but I'll tell you how it works on my friend who is a validator on another chain. What would happen, just to use an example, let's say those who are staking over there on their chain might get, let's say, a 12% return for staking. A lot of the people who are not full validators might start sending in big walls of money to delegate their staking on someone else's validator box, basically. And in exchange, the validator might keep, let's say, 4 of that 12%, and then the other 8 would be paid out. And so this over time can get very lucrative. In my friend's case, he's got millions of dollars of delegated pools of money into his staking that he keeps a percentage on. So it can turn into something very substantial over time. And then that doesn't include collecting in the gas fees on the chain as the chain expands.
Got it.
Did you want to dig in about that? Oh, let's circle back to that. Just try and remind me
of the validator.
Well, the idea of just how crazy the transactions on the chain can
that
get.
Might be for that actually probably would be a video that you should make. And then we can post that, like what is a validator and how do you become one?
Okay.
Because I mean, in essence, I tried to explain it to Stacy, and I dumbed it down to where, like a 6-year-old could probably understand it. It's your blockchain is the train tracks. The stuff that's happening is the train going across the train tracks, and at an intersection, a validator is basically when the train passes it, it notifies it that it actually happened legitimately, and somebody got paid because they have that at the intersection.
You become a toll booth, right? And then you operate the cost side, the hardware side of a software program that goes in and validates everything to make sure that it's true on the chain, right? Yeah. So as transactions happen nonstop, there's always a little toll booth fee. and you as a validator get to collect on that toll booth every time something's passing through that. And we become essentially by proxy literally owners of the network. We are literally nodes on the network. There isn't a blockchain without us. So much like the miners in BTC, like Jay and I talked about the other day, but I just wanted to recap it for those who are new to the concept. We then run software programs that continue to make sure that everything is true on the chain. A blockchain is a truth machine. And so you get paid for supporting the network. And so a lot of great things happen there. But in terms of the transaction fees, imagine now if someday we successfully kick off something like a TikTok style platform, like with CatFits, and it becomes a wild hit. And there's one-click shopping nonstop on there. When someone likes something they see in an influencer video and they click, and a product gets shipped to their house. Imagine how many transactions. All of those have to go through the chain nonstop. What happens when we're on lots and lots of exchanges? Swapping, day traders, institutions, swapping, gas fees. Thank you. I'll take it. And we keep collecting. So it can get very, very crazy over time.
Crazy. Okay, let's keep going. Let's not stay on the validator thing.
All right. I got excited.
It's incredible, but let's keep it down to basics for the majority at the moment, because as you pick this up, you're going to start asking this question. Explain this one. All founders, Lemon, will be publicly locked on a blockchain. Who are the founders, quote unquote?
So I can't name them all. We were about to hear from one of them.
Well, you don't have to name them by name, but you can explain what they are.
So those original NFTs that are not considered NFTs available for the public right now. So they got retail Lemon NFTs and founders NFTs for ease of explanation. And a whole year, or a large percentage of the supply gets created right away, but it's not for them to just go put it in their pocket and cash out and dump on us. It's being used for marketing, growth, exchanges, and also it is contractually locked up. They're not going to just dump it on the market, meaning a big percentage of the total supply of all Lemon tokens is already completely locked up. Picture it in a smart contract that cannot be sold for an extended period of time. So you got a supply this big, and now it's only this big right from the get-go.
That's crazy. Explain. And then next one is all gas is in Lemon. So what you're telling me is because right now on the debt side of it, when we do things, all gas is in BNB, correct? That's why we've all had to have BNB in our wallets.
Correct.
But now with Lemon, all of the transactions, that little tiny fraction of money is going to be paid through Lemon. So people have to have that in their wallets. Every transaction on this entire chain is going to do that, correct?
Right. So the same way you have Visa and MasterCard fees, if at a merchant level, you have to have some fees on every blockchain, and that's to reward the validators. Because are you going to pay a $50 a month or $100 a month or whatever it costs to be a validator? Are you going to pay that every month to support the chain if there are no rewards? Are you going to keep the software and the hardware running and paying the electricity bill? You're not going to do it. There has to be somebody who does it, and there's no blockchain without us validators. And so there'll be a gas fee, whether it's 25 cents or $1 or whatever it is. But it's dollar. And us validators just, we pick up a little slice. That's very nice.
Nothing wrong with that. And speaking of Visa, crypto cards.
So we will have crypto cards that will also have, the same way you're used to loyalty rewards, hotel points, travel points, whatever you want to call it. That's all going to be all paid in Lemon for you to be spending. So, which is fantastic.
So as I have my crypto card, my Lemon
card,
Lempay card, right? It's probably going through Lempay.
Probably going through Lempay, but I'm not sure what the name of it will be.
Okay, so let's say hypothetically it's a Lem card, and you're telling me that if I go pay for meat at the butcher, because that's what I do is eat meat all day, the rewards, the extra rewards that I would normally get for any transactions on the Visa, I'm going to get those rewards now in fractions of the Lemon token, the seeds, I guess you could say.
You're going to get seeds instead of air miles.
Oh my gosh. Think about how that could add up. So it would make sense for me to pay my mortgage with that card, pay every flight that I use with that card, because the more times I pay with that card, the more rewards I'll get, which is actually me getting Lem tokens as well.
Well, and like LemPay has the functionality of a bank, right? So you can make bill payments, you can do bank transfers, you can do. I suspect, and I don't know for sure, so don't quote me this, but I suspect also when you're using the payment gateway on LemPay, it's probably going to have rewards just like being on a credit card. So incentivizing you to use that versus your bank, I expect.
Holy moly. Okay. Every wallet anywhere on the L1 chain will need a few dollars of Lemon. I think we covered that. All royalties will be in Lemon. Explain the royalties in Lemon just for the basic person.
Well, just like if a royalty comes in, let's use the Lem Lotto example. We've all heard that. Let's say in the early days for this week's lottery thing, there is for round math, there's $1 million that comes in. Well, let's say it's going to that $1 million is all at some point in time either going to be collected in Lemon or has to purchase the Lemon token. If the royalties came in, let's say in USD from a traditional business, they'd have to go buy it, the Lemon token first. It's that whole top-down tokenomics idea like we had in the old debt days where the utility token should pull up the value of all of the tokens at all times. So all of that will have a minimum of pass-through in Lemon, which is fantastic.
So the rising tide lifts all ships thing is in full swing. Oh my gosh.
Full swing.
Treasury will leverage quickly and buy to increase holdings and leverage value. Think internal institutional buying power. Treasury will leverage quickly and buy Lemon to increase holdings, leverage value. So explain this, because this one right here may not allow people to sleep anymore.
So there is a treasury function here, just like there was in debt. And with that treasury function, they are going to get loans against it with the ability to acquire even more Lemon. So in the future, we can get larger and larger holdings. And so it's just basically locking up the entire supply and using leverage to do it. Right. So they only so many gets minted into existence, from the founders nodes. And then subsequently, they're going to leverage, buying up more and more Lemon, which, is exciting. And it's going to be needed not just for locking down and for treasury purposes, but it's also going to be an incredible supply. As more and more exchanges take this on, you need to provide liquidity on both sides of the trading pairs. So, it gets real. There's going to be a lot of Lemon being purchased, a lot of buying power against it, and a lot of it being locked up.
And right there is what you kind of leads into that next one. All exchanges will need Lemon. An exchange is something that is Dex Screener is an exchange, correct?
Like Pancake Swap would be an exchange.
Pancake Swap. Well, give me some other examples. Coinbase.
So Coinbase would be like a great example of a centralized exchange.
Okay.
And then a decentralized exchange, Pancake Swap or Uniswap. I mean, there's a few other big ones, 1inch. And when you do swaps on your SafePal wallet right now, it's usually going through a decentralized aggregator. So like 1inch, for example, is a common one on SafePal. But all of those exchanges, either way, still need to hold reserves. They need to have the ability to have tokens. If someone comes to the exchange with BTC or USDT and they want to swap into Lemon because they're hearing all these great things in the media about it, they want to grab some Lemon, the exchanges have to be holding a good amount. And a good amount is a lot because they also have lots of institutional trading on there. So that's big volume that they need to accommodate.
And then a DEX is like a DEX screener, correct?
No, a DEX would be a decentralized exchange, meaning it doesn't operate like a bank. It doesn't really follow banking laws. It doesn't have all the incredible hoops and stuff that a Coinbase would jump through with the government to operate with the government and to have direct licensing for banks to onboard with you. But a decentralized exchange doesn't operate like that. A decentralized exchange doesn't do any KYC, doesn't care who you are. It's all random. I can go to Uniswap and, plug in my wallet and trade as I please, completely anonymous on there and completely do as I please. But they lack the banking functions, of onboarding and offboarding because they don't. We have a saying that I've always taught in my crypto classes and my privacy and security classes. A SEX is like a bank. A DEX is like a pro-freedom exchange. And I always say, no sex with the state.
Got it. That sounds like something you would say, Terry.
It is something I would say.
Okay, this kind of is what you were just talking slightly about. Last couple here is big partners will be acquiring along the way, and they see what we are doing, so they will be holding, most likely locking up for multiple years. All holders of Lemon won't want to sell. So what do you think about the top-down tokenomics? Let's put it in full swing and have fun playing a free game that will do something amazing around the world. So
well,
go ahead.
imagine now you're a brand new L2 project and you see the wisdom in participating for your own project. Now that's one thing, but in your investigation, in your due diligence about whether or not you want to participate, you start to figure out what the hell Lemon is really doing and what the tokenomics are about and where it's really going. You might have a minimum that you need to grab and lock up to participate, but who says that you only want the minimum? You know, look at what Michael Saylor did with Bitcoin. It's a perfect example. Like Michael Saylor runs MicroStrategy, one of the biggest companies in the world. And MicroStrategy, rather than sitting on a shit ton of money in a bank in their treasury, says, you know what? I don't trust fiat. It's only going down. And I don't have a way or a reason to deploy the capital in my business, in my operation side of the business. So rather than letting it sit in a bank account, I'm going to put it in the best performing asset class of all time, something that outpaces inflation to preserve the value of my capital. But not only that, like when you're operating a business, it's hard work in most businesses to turn $1 into $2 or $1 into $3. Like let's say you were had an ads budget. It's not easy to go and turn your $1 into $3 by running ads. You need to be extremely efficient from A to Z. But if you know that Lemon token is on its way to the moon because you looked at the deflationary tokenomics, you might be sitting on $10 million, just using a round number, and you only need $1 million to fulfill your obligations to Lemon Chain. You might decide it's pretty wise not to leave the 10 million sitting on the sidelines going down in value. I'm going to put it here where it's going up in value and go and lock it and stake it just the same way as validators do, with the expectation that you can get some big upside and protect yourself from the complete, nasty, incessant, never-ending erosion of dirty, dirty fiat currencies.
Hey, tell us more about what you think.
Tell us how I really feel. You guys want to know how I really feel?
Okay, last one, and this is a statement. And if you think all of this looks fun, well, let's introduce you to the L2 tokenomics on Thursday. So, in essence, Jason basically just went full blown. Hope you're paying attention. Enjoy the ride of your life kind of situation. I mean, and obviously Terry and I are not financial experts. We are not licensed to be financial people or anything like that. We're not giving financial advice. We're just sharing information that we have picked up out there from everybody that's been talking about it. And I think it's going to be pretty amazing to watch how quickly this thing gets traction from everywhere. Go ahead, Terry.
Two things on that, Mike. One, if you want to check your Telegram, I feel like you might have missed a few bullet points that Jason came in and added after. I sent you this thing that Fraser put together. So big shout out to Fraser for compiling that kind of stuff. But just have a browse of it for a second. And we'll talk about those L2 tokenomics. So without seeing the light paper, we don't need to see the light paper to get the big picture, right? We are talking about hyper aggressive tokenomics. So the light papers and the tokenomics designed for some of the big commodity projects were designed for the long term. Let's say it that way. You know, the big gains would come over time, and the hyper aggressive tokenomics, similar to what we saw with Innate, were designed to be really fast. So on those, if you have a halving every 90 days, and there's other mechanisms that shrink the supply really quick, they're even more aggressive than Rev. And anyone who's spent any time on Dex Screener knows that there's no tokens in Rev. There's almost no wallets and almost no tokens and almost nothing left for anyone to sell if they wanted to. What's been missing from Rev is because it only launched about 10 days before the first hijacking started. that we haven't seen the matching royalties hit. But when hardcore deflationary tokenomics and royalties meet, when those things meet together, OMFG, do we have a recipe for explosive price action? And that's not me giving you financial advice. That's just me saying it's just math, friends. There's only one outcome to it. And I think that some of the biggest projects that will ever be on Lem are here in the early days for us. And I think that's really where, between that and validators, is how it's been architected for us loyalists to win in a huge way. We are going to mine these big suckers right in the early days, get big bags of tokens before the general public comes in and brings a ton more demand. And we're going to be sitting pretty on some projects that should bring some big royalties in the very early days and do some explosive stuff. And so it's so great to be in hyper aggressive tokenomics. Like my buddy called me today, and he's a sharp crypto guy. And so I just want to reiterate that for people, because he's still like, I need to retire. I'm done with the job. Are we still talking about another 5-10 years? I was like, no, you don't understand the math on this stuff. Like it's a halving every 90 days. Rev was out of tokens in less than 12 months. This is more aggressive than that. If people start really trading this thing, boy, that token supply is going to burn up and disappear right quick, and big money might hit it. And I think that's what Mike's pulling up right here, right, Mike?
This was the graphic you just showed me. Is this what you were talking about? The one that says
yeah. So I think there's a couple things that I thought maybe we missed there, but this Lem Lotto one, for example. So what's going to happen with that is 50% of every dollar that comes in is going to get paid out, right? As the prize money, if you will, for the lotto and whatever campaign is going on. Another 30 cents is going to be taken for, let's call it, operational profits. And that amount of revenue stream always coming in allows it to continue for us, allows it to continue to be free for us, because there are other revenue sources that provide operating capital. And there's lots of expenses, let's face it. And the other 20 cents is going to go straight into royalties instantly. And so, I mean, what happens when it's $1 million a week? What happens when it's $10 million a week? What happens if it gets to $1 million a day? I mean, can the lottery, with large numbers of people and everyone just putting in small amounts, but over large numbers of wallet holders with a real juicy prize, when they're feeling like cash flow's coming in and doing well, it's not unfathomable for those numbers to get really, really big. And you got a token supply that's going like this rapidly. You know, I mean, friends, like the whiplash is being engineered. And Mike and I got accused of hyping it up before, but I think it's just people just failing to understand how math works. And if you have to understand that things happen that were outside of control.
Math is hard.
Math is hard. Math is hard. But also there were things outside of certain people's control that interrupted the whiplash that was being orchestrated. And this time, I don't think that can happen. And so when tokens shrink and are all locked up and there's no supply and big walls of money keep hitting it, it's like, I liken it this way. It's like a big incendiary gasoline tank and a match meet, right? And when that happens, there's only one outcome. Like, good luck trying to put gas tanks around incendiary devices and see what happens. There's only one outcome. It's just math.
Crazy. Well, Terry, let's do a quick rapid fire question and answer on some of the things that have been in here. Rick Billings, is there a limit on how many Lemon tokens you can buy per day?
No, absolutely not. It's going to be on a DEX. A DEX is a free, open, decentralized marketplace. As long as you have a bid that a seller is willing to give up his tokens for, and they have enough to give you, it's unlimited.
NFTs will be limited to one per day for a while.
One per day per wallet per project.
Yeah. But the tokens, once they go live, you're good to go. All right. David Lamb, if the requirements go up, then kicked out within 3 years of starting validation, isn't that also bad to have less validators? That's for you, Terry.
They're not going to kick you out. There's just no reason to. There's just going to be increased requirements as it's necessary to do, as it scales. It's just one of the things that has to happen. and they're going to limit the number of validators in the early day to be commensurate with the size of the chain and the transactions. AKA, we want to make sure it's juicy for all the validators so they stick around and continue to play the game and are excited to be there. And as the chain is scaling, then they'll open up more and more, think of it as seats of validators that people can go and participate in.
Mark asks, what's the upfront cost? We probably can't cover that because they haven't verified it. And
I can't cover, but I can give you the gist of kind of what I expect, like the gist, the general idea. You're either going to buy hardware, might be 500-ish, and then you got to manage it and deal with internet uptimes and power bills and all that stuff. Probably not the smart move, but the option will exist. It's going to be the smartest moves. They're going to be in a cloud where they've got unlimited bandwidth, unlimited power, backup power. Everything's on. Engineers watch it all the time. You don't need to be a software expert or figure out the hardware and software requirements. You don't have to do any of that business. You're going to rent basically a software license. You're going to rent a portion of the cloud called a virtual machine. It'll probably be, I don't know what it's going to cost. I really don't know. $50, $100 a month, something like that, probably somewhere in that neighborhood. And you're going to have a minimum requirement of Lemon stake. Jason alluded to the other night that it's not definitively finite or guaranteed or decided upon yet, but probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 500 minimum staked. And that's because we have to prove that you want the best for the chain as a validator. You have to be an owner. So we have aligned incentives. So it'll be something along those lines.
All right. Crypto Nugget says there will not be Lemon gas fees until Lemon migrates to L1, correct? Until then, will there be just BNB fees?
Yeah, I expect that to be the case, but trust me, the sprint to going L1 live is on in the background, and they want to have validators live, lemdators. I like that term. They want to have lemdators live in July, right? Because it's also a prerequisite for L1 to go live. And so there will be staking rewards and some other things that'll come for us. And the sooner we get that up and running, the sooner one more component of going live is put in place. So
Patrick's getting his resignation letter to his boss ready to submit.
Well, my friends, I hope that ends up being the outcome for us all, but I don't have a crystal ball.
Exercise some caution, people. Trust me, exercise some caution.
Yeah, it's still volatile, but I think the future's right. And we can do math, and we can dream. There's nothing wrong with some dreaming and having positive anticipation, but hashtag not financial advice, not legal advice. I don't know how it actually
never ever invest anything you can't afford to lose. Doesn't matter how much you think you're going to win. Never. All right, Patricia. So with the 5 debt tokens that we created on SafePal to get the free NFT, which means you stake the 5, are those going to be able to be unstaked to get Lemon token?
No, those are locked in a smart contract, and doesn't seem like anyone wants to cooperate in liberating your funds from what I can gather, but I'm just speculating. Don't take that as FUD, but I don't expect, and maybe I would love to be pleasantly surprised, but I don't expect that you're going to get access to those until the year is up. So see it as diversification and forced savings and hope for the best.
Right. Uncle Joe says, when can we get Lemon token then? I asked that question, I think, to Jason directly on the last.
It's going to be on or around the 11th. They're not going to tell you ahead of time the exact date and time, or I'd be damn shocked if they did. So you guys just have to stay close to the campfire. It's live when it's live, and you buy when you can, and that's about all you can do.
Yeah. Okay. What are the biggest projects we could what I would recommend, Doug, is so we can get through all these and not be on too long. Watch Terry's interview this morning that he did on his YouTube channel, Mega Trends Now. Okay. Or reach out to Terry and he can get you the video of that, because that was really good. And I think you can, weren't given advice. They weren't given direction, but I think you can, it'll make a little more sense to you.
We had some conversations about some of the projects.
Yeah, it was just conversation. It was fireside chat stuff. Will everyone need to acquire and use Lemon to play Lotto, or will it operate on many chains? Good question.
99.9999% they're going to make it obligated to participate in Lemon. So if other people in the crypto sphere or someone watching Lemflix sees an ad for the Lotto, they're going to have to go to someplace, Lempay, Lempay. We're going to make it easy on them to onboard their fiat, dirty fiat into crypto, grab some lemon and go participate in the lotto.
Yeah, great question. So if OG NFTs are locking up their tokens, what LEM tokens actually hit the market if there are no NFT holders yet? Who could sell anything?
Well, if you read between lines and you realize that there will be an open market ability for buyers and sellers to exchange tokens, the supply is going to be super limited. So I don't think that no matter what the listing price is, you still have to have someone who's willing to part with said tokens, and you have to have a buyer willing to exchange whatever the asking price is for said tokens. So, again, hashtag not financial advice, but I expect some near-term explosions to happen on that front because it's supply and demand.
Let me keep going. I'm gonna couple through here. Swapping from L2 tokens to Lemon or other tokens is still 10%, right? I don't know what that means.
Well, the light papers aren't out, so let's see. But as I recall, yes, but there's a 10%, but that swappability is going to go directly into the liquidity pools to help us maintain much better, much more robust liquidity pools, is how I understand the plan currently. But until I read light papers in detail, let's reserve that for a moment in case I misunderstood it.
Eric says, what do we have to have in place on July 4th to be ready? For example, can we use our SafePal wallet we previously set up?
Yeah, no new wallets required. All good. And if you're ready on the 4th with some dead NFTs you want to swap out, by all means, you do have that choice and that option, and everyone's got to make the decision that feels right for them. I know what I would do, but everyone's in a different position, so you just have to weigh out the pros and cons.
And I'll need to have some BNB in there for the gas fees.
Everything's on Binance Smart Chain,
right?
Everything's on Binance Smart Chain for now.
Yeah, and then I probably will want to have a little USDT if I haven't converted it to BNB or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Bill. Glad you enjoyed the class.
Glad you're getting value from it.
And we still use debt tokens to mint Lemon NFTs.
Yes, I believe it will be accepted, but don't quote me on that. I believe it will be accepted for the time being until Lemon becomes the standard de facto only option. But I can't guarantee that that's the case. Things do change rapidly. Has anyone ever gone out with their spouse on a Friday night to dinner? Jason's been known to change his mind a little more than the ladies change their clothing some days, so
it happens. It's all good. Is there a Lemon way to fund SafePal instead of using Binance or similar?
Is there a Lemon way to fund SafePal?
Probably they could use, what was that? Spritz, and not the one you talk about all the time?
Yeah, I mean, to fund SafePal. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of crypto on and off ramps, right? So you're just looking for any kind of fiat on and off ramp that makes sense. I would have normally recommended local Monero, but it's not that marketplace is having troubles these days. So you just got to use whatever makes sense. Your banks, your sexes, your dexes, your transacts, there's so many options, crypto.com. I mean, there's just so many options. You got to pick what feels right for you. Everyone's in a different jurisdiction, different messy stuff out there.
Mark says, so 500 Lemon could cost $5,000 if it launches $10. That is,
I mean, it could end up costing $50,000.
It could, yeah. I mean, it could spike pretty quick, and so it'll be a first come first serve kind of thing.
Yeah.
For those of us who stake debt, can't access for a year, what do we find the debt that was staked? The date the debt was staked.
Ooh, that's a great question. If anyone knows that answer, drop it in.
If you actually go to the debt V2 site and then click on it where it says your NFT, your projects. If you've connected your wallet, you click on your projects, and then on the right side, you click on it and it'll pop up the pop-up window. And I think it shows the date there. Not positive, but I'm pretty sure that's.
You might be correct on that, Mike. That makes sense. Good
and that could be just an educated guess.
A good place to start.
Biggest frustration for most other side. Do the math, Tokenomics. Yeah.
Yeah, Jason, that's a valid concern. So let me tread lightly so I don't get accused of fudding or.
Hey, no FUD here, bud. No FUD,
Uh,
bud.
yeah, that is the point, right? Like when I talked about match and gasoline meeting, right, incendiary and explosive materials meeting, it does depend on both sides of it, right? If I bring the match and there's no gas or vice versa, we have a problem. You show up to a campfire with a can of gasoline and no one's got a way to get a spark going, you do have a problem. And this has been a problem, right? And there are reasons behind it. And I would just say, let me defer. How about this? Let me defer so I'm staying on the safe side of a minefield here. I've heard Jason and Jake several times in the last few weeks state that they are focused on projects that have right now, here today, operating business, cash flow, royalties ready right now, today. And by focusing on that and having liquidity ready for this project to launch, projects shouldn't just open the doors. Good businesses don't just open the doors. Apple doesn't bring out their newest, latest, greatest big product. When the iPod came out, they did a launch for it. And I expect that you're going to see the same mindset going on here. And so also the simplified business models that are coming on as L2s, I think change that dynamic a lot. So anything you've seen in the past, I mean, I would take all the math lessons with you, but all the frustrations, I don't think we're going to see them here. So I'll kind of leave it at that right before I step on some grenades.
What do you think Lemon NFT will mine in a day, per day?
There's too many variables. I mean, the amount of participation affects that variable. Impossible to know. And it also depends whether you're measuring in seeds or whether you're measuring in USD value. But either way, you know, it's impossible to know. But it's going to be valuable. That's all that matters, right? It's going to be valuable.
Right. You'll get some somehow. Can we get a surprise being able to mint Lemon NFT on July 4th? No.
Probably not.
Probably not. What do you do with debt NFT? Terry, what would you do? Here's what I would tell you, Frank. Go watch the live he did this morning.
Yes. That bad cough I got there, Frankie.
Yeah. Can you swap debt token for lemon tokens? Sounds like 500 lemon tokens purchased was very expensive.
Don't focus on it's not about focusing on the number of tokens, right? Like get the OCD part of your brain just wiped out. You acquire what you can acquire. You acquire what makes sense. You don't focus only on the utility token. It's been said so many times that the L2 project should outperform anyway, the way the rising tide, architecture has been in place. So I would focus on the L2 projects. Leave a budget in your mind that you want a certain amount of NFTs and you want a certain maybe dollar amount that you're willing to go and grab tokens with. And then you get what you get based on the market prices and expect that they'll perform very well over time. But there's no point in being married to a certain amount. This system, if it goes according to the execution of the plan, which there's a lot of variables in there, but if those variables all just seem to align and sort themselves out, we're going to be talking, just like we do in Bitcoin terms, about fractions. We're going to be talking about sats and seeds, not whole tokens. I mean, if you knew what you knew about Bitcoin today, would you be like, yeah, I need to find a way to own 500 Bitcoin today, otherwise I'm not participating?
Right.
You just wouldn't. You have what you have, and it's fantastic. And it does well,
Perfect. Okay, Terry, I have good news. I copied the URL to your video, and I'm going to post it in the comments here in a second. So
very cool.
We can wind this down. Did you guys get a lot out of today? I like that format, to be honest. I think a quick fire Q&A, going through the notes, things like that. You're probably going to want to watch this maybe one more time, at least. Share it with anybody asking questions, just to keep them up to speed.
Hopefully I don't get accused of hyping things up and coming with too much energy. I know some of you prefer funeral parlor level energy, and I can talk a lot slower. I'm I mean, I can work on my stutter game if it makes you feel more comfortable. I mean, I can work on that stuff, but
You
I
could.
prefer to enunciate and speak clearly and have some energy and enthusiasm. And I'm genuinely excited, and I shouldn't have to contain that because I think the future is bright as hell. But it's not financial advice. You know, we got to see and get what we get, friends. But hope we got some value of just kind of dissecting that kind of stuff. And we're always willing to do it. We don't always need to just wait for Jason. I love him. I love Jake. I love hearing from him. I love hearing from the partners. But, you know, we can always powwow on these lessons and try and drop some knowledge bombs on the community and sort out the confusing for people. So
there you go. Well, I just dropped that link to your thing, but it is Terry's channel is megatrendsnow.com, megatrends, or not megatrends.com, but if his YouTube channel. So it should be, if it doesn't pop up in the chat, because I don't have it live on my side. If it you should be able to click on it and go right there and then open it up, save it and stuff like that. So Terry, thanks, man.
Good I saw stuff. Mark asking an important question. It's not 500 lemon tokens. It's a 500 USD value, just for clarity's sake. That's how I currently understand it for the time being.
Oh, good clarity on that. 500.
Yeah.
500 lemon tokens.
You might need $50,000. Don't worry, everyone can be a validator. No, it's not. It's not gonna. It's going to be easy for us in the early days, and that'll change over time. But
good job, Terry. Thanks, buddy. I'm going to end the stream. Is that good?
Yeah, buddy. All good. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Hope you got some value. We'll catch you soon.
Perfect.
Yeah.